Hello students, AS level chemistry chapter is chemical bonding, lecture number 7. In this lecture we are going to talk about what are covalent compounds, what are the different types of covalent compounds, and important properties. We will discuss about different types of covalent compounds. And in the end of this lecture I will also tell you what are the most common rules that we use in chemistry during chemical bond formation. Okay, first of all, let's talk about covalent compound. Now, one thing that you must remember, what is a covalent compound? Any chemical compound having covalent bond, it is known as covalent compound. Any chemical compound having covalent bond, it is known as covalent compound. And the most important feature, most important property of covalent compound that you must remember, all the covalent compounds, they have molecules. Now you can remember, whenever a chemical compound is covalent, it has molecules, or whenever you see something having molecules, it is obvious it would have covalent bonding. So both these things are important, and both these things are interrelated. Covalent compound, they always have molecules, and molecules, they always have covalent bonding. Now, next thing you must remember, there can be two types of molecules, there can be two types of covalent compound according to their structure. One type of covalent compound according to structure can be known as simple discrete molecules, simple discrete molecular structure. And other type of molecules are known as macromolecules or macromolecular structure. So remember, in chemistry, covalent compounds according to structure, they can be of two different types: simple molecular lattice structure and macromolecular lattice structure. Now it is very simple to remember the properties of these two types of covalent compound. If if in your mind you are having the properties of ionic compound, then there is no need to remember the properties of simple and macromolecules. Why? In case of simple molecules, the properties are mostly opposite to properties of ionic compound, while most of the properties of macromolecules, they resemble, they are identical to the properties of ionic compound, and only two properties they are different compared to ionic compound. Now I can tell you what are the important properties of ionic compound, just to recall you. So remember, the most important property of ionic compound, they are hard solid. So the most important property of ionic compound, all the ionic compounds are hard solid. Whenever anything is hard, it has high melting and boiling point. And whenever anything is having high melting and boiling point, it is non-volatile. So three properties of ionic compound are very simple to be remembered. Ionic compounds, hard solid, high melting and boiling point, non-volatile. Next, you must remember, all the ionic compounds, they are electrolytes. What does this mean? It means they dissolve in water to produce ionic solution and can show conduction. So remember, ionic compounds are electrolyte. And the last property that you can remember, ionic compounds, they do not have any molecules. Rather, how they exist as? They exist as clusters of ions. They have cubic crystal lattice structure. So you can remember five important properties of ionic compound: hard solid, high melting and boiling point, non-volatile, electrolytes, and no molecules, rather clusters of ions. Now if you have these properties of ionic compound in your mind, it is very obvious and very clear to predict the properties of simple molecule. Remember, ionic compounds are hard solid, but simple molecules are mostly soft solid, liquids, or gases. Simple molecules are mostly soft solid, liquids, or gases. And whenever something is soft, solid, liquid, or gas, it would have low melting and boiling point. And anything in chemistry having low melting and low boiling point, it is known as volatile. Anything any material that evaporates easily, it is known as volatile. So simple, you can remember that all the simple molecules, you can remember they are soft solid, liquids, gases, low melting and boiling point, volatile. And next thing, next property of simple covalent molecules, it is partly identical to ionic compound. What I told you, ionic compounds are electrolytes, but simple covalent molecules, they can be electrolytes or they can be non-electrolytes. So remember, simple molecules, they are electrolyte if they are polar in nature, and they may be non-electrolyte if non-polar in nature. The detail of polar and non-polar molecules, it is a separate topic in your syllabus. We will discuss later on, but right now I can tell you a simple trick how you can identify the difference between polar and non-polar molecules. What you can remember, what is a polar molecule? The bond between different atoms, it is polar, and the bond between similar identical atom, it is non-polar. For example, if you see HCl, you can see one atom is hydrogen, one is chlorine, so HCl is polar, so it is electrolyte because HCl in water, it dissolves to produce ionic solution. But if I give you F2 fluorine, F2 is non-polar, it is non-polar because both atoms are identical. So remember, polar molecules are electrolytes, non-polar molecules are non-electrolytes. So you can see, if you have in your mind the properties of ionic compound, it is quite easy to predict the properties of simple molecules, simple molecular covalent compounds. Okay, likewise, if you know the properties of ionic compound, remember mostly the properties of macromolecules, they are identical to ionic compound. The most important property of macromolecules like sand, like silicon carbide, they are hard solid. And whenever something is hard, you can guess quite easily and with confidence that they would have high melting and boiling point, and obviously they will be non-volatile. So these are the properties of macromolecules which are identical to ionic compound. Now two more properties of macromolecules you can remember, which are reverse, which are opposite to ionic compound. What I told you, ionic compounds are electrolytes, but macromolecules, they are non-electrolytes. Why they are non-electrolyte? Because they are insoluble, they are not soluble in water, that is why they are non-electrolyte. And the last property that you must remember about macromolecules, they are generally inert or unreactive. They are generally inert or unreactive. And you can also remember that all the macromolecules are non-conductor except graphite. Graphite is the only macromolecule that can show conduction. So these are the two types of covalent compounds according to their structure and their important properties. Okay students, next we are going to talk about what are the different rules that we must remember, that we must keep in our mind while studying chemical bond formation. So remember, in chemistry there are three important rules that we use while studying bond formation. Now these three rules are, namely, number one, duplet rule, the simplest rule. What is duplet rule? Simply remember, whenever an element gets, whenever an element has two valence electron after bond formation, we call that this element is following duplet rule. So simply you can remember, duplet rule means two valence electron after bond formation. And the common elements that can follow this rule: hydrogen, you know hydrogen can make one bond only. After bond formation, hydrogen could have two electrons. Lithium, lithium atomic number is 3. it belongs to group number 1. Lithium loses one electron during bond formation. When lithium has lost one electron, it would have two valence electron. So duplet rule means having two valence electron after bond formation. Next, rule number 2, that is very common in chemistry. It is known as octet rule. Octet means 8. Whenever you see an element is having an element is having 8 valence electron after bond formation, it is octet rule. And now one more rule that is very obvious to be remembered from this level onward in chemistry, it is expansion of octet. Now this must not be a surprising information for you people. You people must remember that for an element, it is possible that an element after bond formation, it could have more than 8 electrons. If an element has more than 8 valence electron after bond formation, we call it that element following expansion of octet rule. So this is a simple description you can remember for these three types of rules: duplet rule, octet rule, and expansion of octet rule. Now I am giving you one example of a compound. You are familiar with this compound, and in this compound all the three rules, they are being followed. The common example is sulfuric acid, H2SO4. In this compound, each of the three rules, they are being followed. Now you can see what is the central atom of H2SO4. It is sulfur. I am giving you the dot and cross formula for sulfuric acid, and then you will become able to identify which element is following duplet rule, which element is following octet rule, and which one is following expansion of octet. Look at the dot and cross formula. Sulfur on 4 sides, sulfur is bonded to oxygen atom. Then out of 4, 2 oxygens, they are bonded to hydrogen. So this is the dot and cross for sulfuric acid. Now if you look at this dot and cross, you can see quite obviously. If you look at hydrogen, what you can see, after bond formation, hydrogen, it is having how many electrons? 2 electrons. So it means each hydrogen atom, it is following duplet rule. Look at any oxygen, any one oxygen. You can look at any one oxygen, and what you can see, how many electron this oxygen is having after bond formation. You can see after bond formation, this oxygen is having 8 electrons. So what does this mean? It means each oxygen is following octet rule. As compared to this, if you look at sulfur atom, what you can notice? You can notice that each sulfur, there is only one sulfur. That sulfur, it is having, after bond formation, it is having 12 electrons. So we can see that sulfur atom in sulfuric acid, it is following expansion of octet. So always remember, whenever you have been given a compound, mostly octet rule is followed, and sometime duplet rule, and sometime expansion of octet rule is followed. But now this must not be some surprising information for you people. If an element is having more than 8 electron after bond formation, you must remember that element would have undergone would have shown which rule? Expansion of octet. So this was the simple information that we discussed in this lecture. If you have any question in your mind related to this topic, please give your feedback in the comments, and also write down the question that is in your mind about this topic. I will try to answer that question as soon as possible. Thank you for your time. Bye.